Greetings, Keishal. Greetings, Keishal. And ostensibly, greetings, Keishal. I'm not seeing all chat quite yet. Bear with me, please. Greetings in chat, Nexus Hunter, Snoopius100, and Keishal. Today's raffle will be for a game called My Little Universe, a very cozy survival building sim thing. You know what? I don't need to know anything about it. I just need to play the trailer. I will not be appearing in the flesh on this occasion. I hope you can forgive me. I just can't be asked. Maybe if I'd gotten more coffee sooner. I already got it now, and we must all deal with consequences. Meanwhile, in chat, if you are inclined to let me know, I'm thinking I might stream some repo again after this. Even if it is just me doing it solo. I'm quite fond of the game. Coffee status, chugged. Live in 6. And I have done no meaningful promotion yet. Drat. Greetings again, Keishal. By the other platform, all platforms seem to be running. That much is good. There's one more thing to do. Maybe not yet. I made some effort to try to watch all channels for chat. I make no guarantee I will catch everything, because all the activity seems to be on YouTube, which is not surprising. It's not profitable for YouTube, but that's why it's called something called a loss leader, which I'm not going to bother explaining. We're starting with an SCP I'm pretty sure I've done before, but it's the best I could come up with at the time. It's not all that long, so requests will surely be open before the hour is up. The theme is sleep. For no reason. Greetings, Bishop. Greetings, Mina the Wild Mongoose. Let's begin. Greetings, everyone. I am Director of Arc Labs, as is always the case, really, until I figure out how to stick robot with doing this for me, which I wouldn't do. Co-host, maybe. That's what 58 was for. Before they began to let me down. Oh no, they're off doing more important things anyway. Look, I'm very tired. I've just put down a lot of coffee, which will probably help things tremendously, but I really should have had a lot more coffee a lot sooner. Apologies for what will be a bit of a drag on that point. No jiggle physics that you are not presently visibly observing. I hope that's okay. I'm glad that you caught the stream this time as well, Mina the Wild Mongoose. I shall read SCP-966, then I'm going to play a trailer for the game we're raffling off, which will be handled once again through rolls on random.org, at which point someone will presumably have another SCP to recommend after the first, and then we'll read that one until time's up. Hopefully, at some point, the coffee will kick in and I'll remember what jokes are and how to make them. SCP-966. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures: MTF Iota-1 Dream Hunters and MTF Iota-2 Air Chasers are to regularly be on the lookout for news about sudden violent human deaths related to sleep deprivation, in order to find and neutralize remaining wild instances of SCP-966. The 4 specimens of SCP-966, 3 males, designated SCP-966-1, 3, and 4, and 1 female, designated SCP-966-2, acquired by the Foundation, must be contained in a 10 by 10 meter room made of steel lined with lead, located at a redacted site. 2 security cameras with infrared filters and infrared sensitive film are to be installed inside of the room. Each specimen of SCP-966 is to be fed with 20 kilograms of meat every month. In the event of SCP-9662 giving birth, a newborn specimen is to be studied and disposed of before it reaches maturity. Description: SCP-966 are predatory creatures that resemble hairless, digitigrade humans, possessing an elongated face with a mouth lined with needle-like teeth. On each hand, they have 5 claws that can be up to 20 centimeters long. Although sharp, these are easily broken, making them unfit for combat. SCP-966's height ranges from 1.4 to 1.6 meters, and they can reach up to 30 kilograms in weight. Physically, SCP-966 are weak, possessing hollow bones and low muscular density. They do not seem to rise through sleep. Instead, they will suddenly cease all movement at seemingly random intervals of time, resuming normal activity 3 to 5 minutes later. SCP-966 are only visible at wavelengths ranging from 700 nanometers to 900 nanometers. This applies to all of SCP-966's tissues. If their skin, muscle, organs have suffered from second or third degree burns, the affected areas will be visible at wavelengths ranging from 360 to 900 nm. SCP-966 feed on medium to large-sized animals, including humans. They hunt either alone or in pairs. Their hunting methods consist of emitting a single burst of a previously unknown type of wave dubbed Farthington waves in honor of late Dr. Farthington, which permanently inhibits the ability of the affected creature to enter any of the REM and REM sleep stages. The ability to microsleep is also lost. The effective range of the waves is up to 20 meters, however, tests show that they can be blocked by post-transition metals, particularly lead. All attempts to make victims of SCP-966 sleep have failed. It is still possible to induce other forms of unconsciousness, although these will usually prove detrimental to the affected subject, as they do not provide true rest. After depriving their victims of sleep, SCP-966 will stalk their prey until the lack of rest incapacitates it. At this point, SCP-966 will proceed to consume it. SCP-966 have proved to be very agile and silent while stalking their victims. On occasion, they will deliberately make threatening noises around the prey in order to further stress it, and may even physically assault it if the victim proves to be particularly durable. Other than the common symptoms caused by sleep deprivation, some victims of SCP-966 have shown signs of suffering from extremely vivid hallucinations, as well as sudden bouts of rage with no apparent external stimuli. It is currently thought that these are the effects of prolonged exposure to Farthington waves. Why SCP-966 continually exposes these waves to only some of their victims is unknown. One hypothesis is that SCP-966 will only do this when starving, since it further degenerates the physical and mental state of their prey, incapacitating it at a faster rate. Wild instances of 966 are found all over the world. Since their discovery in 1920, the Foundation has succeeded in greatly thinning their numbers, although they are still found in large quantities in many countries, particularly someplace, another place, and then another place other than the previous two. Presumably you would know if you're there. I would imagine they spend a lot of time around crack houses. Like, I'm thinking these things are hunting meth heads. They're pretty much invisible by consequence. We're up to 7 likes, 7 concurrent viewers. This is not quite 100% approval rating, but it is appreciated. So, SCP-966, or rather the species, categorized as SCP-966, is not quite entirely contained, and they haven't really added the containment since this SCP was first posted. It's been a long time. I can only assume that all the wild elements have been uniformly straight up murked. I'm kind of curious if these things can carry other objects, other ways they might reveal their presence. That said, I do fully support the Foundation making a point of just outright killing these damn things wherever found. And it's also good that they were not revealed widely to exist, as I'm pretty sure there would be some tree huggers out there who would argue for preservation of these precious, precious, innocent sleep deprivation demons. I could be a bit biased against one in particular. Okay, for those of you joining us and those of you already here who haven't identified yourselves, I'm going to refrain from being offended by that. But you're welcome anyway, even if I'm beneath addressing. Well, if it all's against shooting Bigfoot, the good news there is that they will never be tested. I think very unlikely we will ever see a case where someone has been brought into court for violating the law and shooting Bigfoot. Now, shooting a guy wearing a Bigfoot costume is already against the law under general don't, shoot people laws. I think they're pretty standard. Falling perhaps under the still more general term, don't murder people, yo. This is the game we're apparently raffling, once again provided by Exodus, who I should have tagged in the promotion in hindsight. I'm very tired.
After a cataclysmic event, you've been imbued with the celestial powers of creation, giving you the ability to rebuild worlds that were unmade by a mysterious cosmic threat. As you embark on your adventure, know that you're not truly alone. Bring together a group of friends and team up to become an unstoppable force. Collect resources that can be used to travel between worlds. As well as create shiny new tools and the toughest armor. It's dangerous to go alone. Take your friends. Fight as a team against a multitude of challengers and monstrosities. Destroyed by a dark entity, you'll need to restore the portals to be able to travel across the universe. Explore the 9 worlds, rebuild them into the paradises that they once were. Gather allies and embark on a quest in your own little universe.
Nexus Hunter is in on the raffle. I do wish Haven had seen fit to pop up. This does kind of look something that might be up their alley. Why the characters look like the pigs from a Game of Life? Because that's just their default.
After...
Well then, do we have an SCP request? In the chat, it is open to anyone, first come, first served, and I will read any that fit in the time allowed. K. Scholl with a request for SCP-072. Easily reached. They did, by the way, Mean the Wild Mongoose reveal in that trailer that you can make your characters look like something other than pegs from a Game of Life. It's just the default. Pummel Party style. Okay. SCP-072, Object Class Safe. All known instances of SCP-072 have been contained in a 3.5 by 4 meter holding cell. Access allowed only during authorized testing procedures without prior approval from Senior Researcher Grant. No materials created for the purpose of being slept on are to be introduced within a 15-meter vicinity of the holding cell. SCP-072 stripped of covers before being removed from Anghurst Apartments. Description: Instances of SCP-072 were first discovered in an apartment building in Backwater, Michigan. After 2 local media reports on 072's effects caused local panic, which drew the attention of embedded Foundation agent Doofus. SCP-072 is a shadowy and translucent projection which resembles a 9.9 meter long hand, the fingers of which taper to a sharp point. Detailed recording of SCP-072 is difficult. It does not manifest at light levels above 5 lux. Instances of SCP-072 have only been observed to manifest when a human, hereafter referred to as the subject, enters REM sleep while located in a bed infected by SCP-072 and leaves a foot or feet exposed to open air. If these conditions are satisfied, SCP-072 will emerge from the foot of the bed and appear to use its pointer finger to tap on the subject's foot until they awaken. Subjects reported that at this point they were unable to move, showing symptoms similar to sleep paralysis. This continues as long as SCP-072 is visible. SCP-072 will then use its pointed fingers to cut portions of flesh from the exposed part of the subject's foot or feet. It will return to within the bed in between each removal, emerging without the collected material. This will continue until SCP-072 has taken all of the exposed foot or feet, stopping at the ankle. Those subjects exposed to 072 report this process to be immensely painful. Its paralytic effects render them unable to scream or call for help. It is unknown if manifestations of SCP-072 feed on the collected material or use them for some other purpose. As long as the wounds are properly treated, SCP-072's effects are not fatal, but have been observed to cause psychological damage relating to sleep in the future. There is also a secondary effect. Any bed within an approximate 10-meter vicinity of a bed which manifests the effects of SCP-072 will also host an instance of SCP-072. Destruction of a bed affected by SCP-072 reveals no anomalous materials and no trace of biological material removed from subjects. Addendum. A list of known SCP-072 subjects. SCP-072-1, 2, and 3 recovered from the original apartment complex, 3 twin-sized beds, which were located within 10 meters of one another. SCP-072-4, a king-sized 4-poster bed contaminated during SCP-072's time in Site 12 temporary anomalous objects holding. SCP-072-5, a sleeping bag with a bottom removed, introduced to SCP-072-1 for testing. When D-2191 entered REM sleep in object that expunged, SCP-072-5, not recommended for testing in the future. I'm guessing, in this case, it didn't stop at the ankles. SCP-0726 and 7, beds introduced to SCP-0722 and later destroyed for examination. Remains of SCP-0726 and 7 appear unaffected, but are to be contained until further studies may be completed. Agent Doofus, most kind. Greetings in chat to Metro. I saw that. And we've gone through 2 SCP files. Now this one, I don't know about you, but this is kind of nostalgic because I know that as a kid, I was very concerned about my feet being exposed by a blanket or hanging over the edge of a bed, as if I sort of instinctively feared something like this happening. The very existence of this SCP file suggests to me that I had reason to, or at the very least, I was not alone in this concern. How nice of it to stop at the ankles, typically. And given that it's somewhat infectious, I'm pretty sure it's eating the removed bits. Also, they imply that this is very survivable, but how many people have the means to stop the sort of bleeding that having their foot removed? Especially if it's both feet. I'm not sure how long it would take to bleed out. But having your feet lopped off in the middle of the night while paralyzed does not seem as survivable as one might assume. I have no present company for commentary. I do not have the energy to, again, set up 58. I really have to start making a point of that. What can I say? I might not have slept all that well. And indeed, I've burnt all my energy. Until the caffeine kicks in. And hopefully burns out again in time to sufficiently get back to sleep. We are only 16 minutes in. Other SCPs would be welcome. We have no special custom releases this time round, but just for the record to the author of those really, really nice SCP files, they're always going to be welcome. I do hope my commentary and critiques were not taken anything less than a supportive fashion. For anyone just joining, we are again raffling off this rather cozy world-building game. So far, the only
After
competitor
a
is Next Center.
cataclysmic event, You've been imbued with the celestial
welcome.
powers of creation,
Provided I can
giving
get
you
you
the ability to rebuild worlds that were unmade by a mysterious cosmic threat.
via Twitter.
As you embark on your
Discord.
adventure, know that you're not truly alone. Bring together a group of friends and team up to become an unstoppable force. Collect resources that can be used to travel between worlds.
Use SCPs because they are all named. Yeah, but I'll give numbers instead of names. Look, if you have a request
As well
and
as
you don't remember the
create
number,
shiny
you
new
can
tools
describe it.
and the
reasonably
toughest
well. I
armor.
might know it, although that would imply a very bet.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take your friends. Fight as a team against
What
a
I might
multitude of
suggest is
challenges
typing in the
and
SCP things you recall,
monstrosities.
as good a script as possible, and browser of choice, search engine of
Destroyed by
choice.
a dark entity, you'll need
And
to
then see
restore
what
the
numbers come up on
portals to be able to travel across the universe. Explore the 9 worlds. Rebuild them into the paradises that they once were. Gather allies and embark on a quest in your own little universe.
For want of an SP request file, I'm just going to hit random. What's the worst that could happen? In the event the worst does happen, though, I am going to reserve the right to not do that thing. Okay. Apparently it's a playthrough of my little universe. Something about it makes me nervous. We're not going to worry about that. Well, with that one SCP where it said not to have them reproduce, at first I thought that was the chicken SCP with the exploding eggs. You know, the chicken SCP with the exploding eggs, I'm already familiar with. I've definitely covered that one. I don't remember the eggs exploding so much. And then, of course, there are the man eggs. Now, those are horrific. But short of having a number, I'm not going to try and pull that up. Guessing 791030. Yes, mostly because I don't think that one exists, unless that was something posted to the server recently that I'm unaware of. Oh, yes, it just came in today. Pardon, Metro. I'd missed that until now. Well then, the next SCP is already selected. Let's get started. I should make sure I have the correct page to start with. 2 of 3, 3 of 3, 1 of 3. The next SCP is SCP-791030. No, Metro, you have not missed it. And I'm glad for that. I apparently missed that entirely. It must have been crowded out by Kaylett's public service announcement not to click on any links related to a Sand playlist. Early access to a game called Sand apparently is not doing play tests. Okay. Special containment procedures. SCP-791030 has been classified as a safe anomaly and poses no threat to any SCP personnel. SCP personnel. It is required to keep SCP-791030 in a cool climate with dehumidified air. Must avoid getting SCP-791030 in physical contact with moisture. SCP-791030, quote-unquote, another brick, is a solid clay brick with a dimension of 194 millimeters by 92 millimeters by 57 millimeters with a weight of 2.041 kilograms. SCP-791030 was discovered in a storage area located at Wilshrode's Primary School in Texas. SCP-791030 was brought in for evaluation, it was determined that SCP-791030 can communicate verbally. However, it has not been determined how SCP-791030 can audibly speak, as SCP-791030 does not possess a mouth to speak with, nor does there appear to be any actual internal organs inside of SCP-791030. One usual characteristic about SCP-791030 is the repeated mention about being just another brick in the wall, quote unquote. And is also found to present such queries as, how can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? SCP-791030 does strike up fascinating conversations where SCP-791030 describes events it observed over the years and talked about how it was, quote-unquote, another brick in the wall. SCP-791030 was queried about this wall, which SCP-791030 replied it did not know the wall's purpose, but does recall often being told SCP-791030 was, quote-unquote, wrong, and to, quote-unquote, do it again. When SCP-791030 is left alone, SCP-791030 is observed conversing with itself about how it don't need no education and don't need no thought control. SCP-791030 is often observed shouting as if communicating with someone, "Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone!" Dr. Haywood Jabloni performed a psychological evaluation of SCP-791030 and determined that SCP-791030 suffers from what's known as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, which is a mental health disorder namely caused by terrifying or extremely stressful past events. SCP-791030, however, does remain in stable condition regardless of its mental disorder, and continues to engage in delightful conversations with authorized SCP personnel. Continued observation of SCP-791030 will continue to be conducted and will continue to document any future clues about, quote-unquote, the wall. Nice. You know, one of the things that stands out to me on this one is that you could probably make SCP-791030, you know, as a personal tribute to your very own, of your very own to Pink Floyd and their legendary album, The Wall, with their timely and still relevant commentary against public education and thought control. Curiously, by basically taking a brick, putting in a suitable speaker in the brick, probably concealed, and then connecting that to wirelessly to a computer, running an LLM that could then perhaps carry on a conversation, constantly dropping Pink Floyd The Wall references while feigning a conversation with some unwitting person. However, this is just straight up magic we can trust, as we know the Foundation has in this case confirmed there are no internal organs in SCP-791030, in which case I can only assume a really cool, likable wizard made this thing also as a tribute to Pink Floyd's The Wall. Okay, that's a fine SCP file. Author Metro. And if the Foundation were a bit more allowing of new creations, this I think should actually go in there. I suppose some questions that one of the wiki thought controllers might ask is, how is it that the Foundation is not catching those references? All in all, just on the brick of a wall would surely tip off one of them, unless, of course, this is one of those realities in which I guess Pink Floyd doesn't exist, which is, that's just sad. Welcome in chat Korg the Brutal. Glad you can make it. We're raffling off a game, as provided by One Fine Exodus. It is this game. Let me know if you want to enter the raffle.
After a cataclysmic event, you've been imbued with the celestial powers of creation.
This is a fantasy.
Giving you the ability to rebuild worlds that were unmade by a mysterious cosmic threat. As you embark on your adventure, know that you're not truly alone. Bring together a group of friends and team up to become an unstoppable force. Collect resources that can be used to travel between worlds. As well as create shiny new tools and the toughest armor. It's dangerous to go alone. Take your friends. Fight as a team against a multitude of challengers and monstrosities. Destroyed by a dark entity, you'll need to restore the portals to be able to travel across the universe. Explore the 9 worlds, rebuild them into the paradises that they once were. Gather allies and embark on a quest in your own little universe.
This game is up for raffle at present. Nexus Hunter is the only one in the raffle, which means that odds are good of winning, really. They're actually 100% in his personal case. Yeah, don't we all? I suppose I do. It's not even a little one. That's a bit too large. I wouldn't mind downsizing it just a bit. On the other hand, that's probably just me being a bit cynical. Strictly speaking, I'm with Elon Musk on trying to get humanity onto assorted other planets as soon as possible before some deranged cabal or another manages to get everyone killed on this one. Yes, I relate to that acutely, Korg the Brutal. I only have so much time for certain games at certain times, and my free time for gaming, I want to commit it to Repo, because I do find that game deeply charming, and it kind of meshes my philosophy. Yes, it's a rather sad situation where apparently all of humanity has been killed or mutated, mold beyond recognition in some cases. There's some sadness on that point. But all the valuable stuff is being looted out of it using robot proxies, or actual robots. It's not really clear. Nah, fine. Play your Marvel Rivals game. And I quite like Squirrel Girl as well, as long as she's not taken too seriously. That's not a character that should ever be taken seriously. Okay, well, we've gone through 2 official SCPs and 1 recently created SCP that is a actually fantastic reference to Pink Floyd's The Wall. We have Eat Bots. K-Troll has been added to the raffle for My Little Universe. It's open to anyone else as well. Thank you again to Exodus for providing the key. If anyone would like an SCP file read, as about 30 minutes left, I'm pretty sure another SCP file would just about take up. I wasn't sure, Nerdy Rodent. Strictly speaking, kicking nuts, fairly violent. Eating the bots, though, it sounds like 731 is your random number, Korg the Brutal? If that's what I think it is. We've done it before. I'm just curious if it is the one I think it is, in which case I think it's going to be well remembered. I'm going to take a quick look at it. If we've done it again, I'll go to K-Shoal's request. I see. This is a separate red link. I think I can fit in this one and case rolls. I'm going to go with this one. Reason being, it has possibly cuteness in it. Item SB-731, Object Class Euclid, Special Procedures. A system of decommissioned utility tunnels at Site 9 was sealed off and converted into a mock sewer system, covering an area approximating 6 city blocks with 17 street-level access points sized to fit SB-7311. D-Class personnel are sent to quote-unquote check the manhole covers every 1 to 2 weeks to ensure that SB-7311 does not attempt to stray farther afield. All other horizontal access hatches or aperture covers within a 5-kilometer radius have been sealed or retrofitted to a form factor incompatible with SB-7311. The mock sewer system is to be kept impenetrable to the entrance or exit of any vermin or other small creatures. A mixture of simulated wastewater and refuse is to be cycled intermittently through the system via pumps. Human access to the substreet level system is via decontamination locks. The substreet level is not considered hazardous, but care must be taken against any unexpected tricks or traps that may be set by SB-7312 contained within. SB-7312 is classified as safe, which is not saying if the whole thing is classified Euclid and it's animated on its own. SB-7312 would also have to be necessarily Euclid. Why are they trying to use two classifications in the same file anyway? It's weird. Weird. We're at 7 likes, 9 viewers. Still not 100%. That's fine. Description. SB-7311 is a steel disc, 63 centimeters in diameter, approximately 3 centimeters thick, weighing 55 kilograms. On its upper side, it resembles an ordinary manhole cover with 2 apertures for the insertion of lifting picks and a traction pattern embossed on its surface that resembles a maze. A logo at the center consists of 2 short bars with arcs extending from their midsection. The appearance of the cover does not correspond to any known utility system manufacturer, though the logo could potentially represent redacted or redacted. On the underside of the disc is an intricate geometric pattern of etched curves whose purpose or meaning is unclear. The existence of an SCP candidate was first suspected in downtown Manhattan when data mining revealed a suspicious pattern of unexplained missing persons. The pattern stretched back at least 50 years, prior to which time inadequate records were kept to track the disappearances with certainty. The underlying pattern to the disappearances was matched to the sewers and utility tunnels of the city. The last known location of disappeared victims was always in the immediate vicinity of an excess manhole. Foundation teams searching the tunnels eventually discovered the unusual patterning of SB-7311's underside, but by the time they returned with a containment vehicle, SB-7311 had transposed itself with another manhole cover somewhere else in the city. SB-7311 was ultimately cornered after a campaign was launched to weld down every manhole cover in the city under the guise of an anti-terrorism measure, restricting SB-7311's mobility to the point where its only option was to transpose to a manhole that had been prepared for rapid removal and transport. SB-7311 appears to act as a sort of roving ambush predator. Its senses are unknown, but apparently very acute. When it is stepped on by a lone human who is not being observed by anyone else, the victim appears to, quote-unquote, fall down the manhole, in actuality being sucked into the solid surface of SB-7311. Simultaneously, a single large Norway rat, Rattus norvegicus, that's why I went ahead and chose this one, is hereafter designated SB-7312, is disgorged from the underside of the cover to fall into the tunnel below. It is thought that SB-7311 somehow converts its victim into this rat. The maximum range of which SB-7311 is able to transpose itself with compatible manholes, or whether or not it is possible for it to jump to another network utility tunnels not directly connected to its current home, is not known. The frequency of its spontaneous jumps increases the longer it goes without performing a conversion, possibly with the goal of finding better quote-unquote hunting grounds. It is therefore hoped that by allowing it to capture and convert D-class personnel on a regular basis, it can be kept satiated and will remain within the faux city where it is currently contained. So, This is how you became the rat you are, eh? Well, it had to happen somehow. Addendum SCP-7312. The rats produced by SCP-731 appear physiologically normal at first examination. However, evidence suggests they possess an unusually high level of intelligence, and that they may retain specific knowledge and/or memories possessed by the humans they were created from. SCP-312 have proven extremely adept at overcoming puzzles and other challenges, and are only rarely fooled by conventional rat traps. See, I'm thinking a conventional rat would probably fare better in this situation than a human who's been recently turned into a rat. I just trust a rat to better rat than a non-rat. SCP-7312 avoids human contact whenever possible, and their endocrine response suggests they are universally terrified by the presence of humans. When kept under observation in a laboratory setting, this fear appears to override much or all of their higher brain functions, such as they may be, causing their behavior to appear similar to a normal rat's. This makes confirmation of their intellectual capabilities under controlled conditions difficult. Concealed cameras and microphones were hidden in tunnels of the containment facility to observe converted rats in their natural environment. When unaware they are being observed, SCP-7312 are highly social and appear to attempt to communicate in complex ways. Since the rats are far easier to contain than the teleporting manhole cover that produced them, this study has been judged of low risk, and SCP-7312 have not been subject to routine extermination. When normal rats are introduced into cages with SCP-7312, SCP-7312 tends to be timid and exhibit submissive behavior toward their wild cousins. The normal rats do not appear to consider SCP-7312 unusual. Mating behavior has been observed, but it does not appear these superficially similar species are interfertile. It is not yet known whether SCP-7312 are fertile at all. SCP-7312 appear to have a longer lifespan and lower metabolic rate than natural rats, with a correspondingly reduced fecundity. This further reduces the potential risk of SCP-731's progeny escaping to the wild, though a population may exist in Portland. I am troubled by these humans turned rats who seem to lean into being a rat all too smoothly. If they're not sexually, biologically compatible with the rats they are kept with, I'm concerned the Foundation might have run tests to find out if they're human compatible still, and what that would result in. I don't think I want to follow that chain of thought any further, and will not be clicking on experiment log 731 in favor of moving on to K. Shaw's request. Thank you, Porg the Brittle, for your random number selection. Onwards to 294. Now this is one I've done before, but it's a classic. And we're up to 9 likes now. I don't see us getting to 13, which means that I'm trailing behind such shows as Cotton Council and, well behind Ricky Berwick. That doesn't really count. I mean, have you seen that man play games? Ricky Berwick is an extraordinary gamer. He's a bit haunting, really. Look, I've seen people play Fortnite before, not very often because I hate Fortnite. But no one plays Fortnite on the difficulty level that Ricky Berwick does. A lot of people might suck at Fortnite, but those people who suck at Fortnite are not sucking at Fortnite, while a large number of people are constantly coughing up money for super chats to have Alexa turn off his TV or play things like Dancing Queen, which apparently is copyrighted, and that's the only reason he stops it. It's a shame, really. If I was feeling particularly lazy, it'd be kind of tempting just to let anyone request Alexa play whatever song they wanted to hear. Only I hate Alexa, so I won't be getting one of those for that reason. Okay, SCP-294. We've done it before, but it's a good one. Is that true, Snippy 700? I got the impression that their podcast got like 1,000 people. It's absolutely crap for the clout they like to think they have. But, you know, it's a bit ahead of me. Oh well, I'll take it as consolation regardless. Indeed! Yeah, I don't think I've seen much of Ricky's work, but he's apparently doing a marathon fundraiser for himself, I presume. I don't mind, personally. Where if he meets his goal, he's going to break the TV he's been using, which I imagine is very cathartic after he's had to have it turn on many times when he doesn't quite tell Alexa to stop in time. But I respect him for extracting support from his enemies almost as much as his fans. I have absolutely no interest in Fortnite. Pummel Party, other games, sure. Pummel Party was a fun one. After streaming Repo last Tuesday, I went on to play a game of Pummel Party with Ghastly and the Gulf City crew. It was very enjoyable. Although being a more violent Mario Party, I was reminded that I don't necessarily like those games. It's fun, mostly for the company in this case. I was pleased not to have been last place. I just do wonder how much of those games hinges upon skill versus luck. A lot of RNG, and the RNG hates us all. But particularly me. SCP-294, Object Class Euclid. There are no special containment procedures on file for SCP-294. However, only personnel of security clearance 2 or higher are allowed to interact with it. See document 294A. SCP-294 is currently being stored in the second floor personnel break room and is monitored by 2 guards of security clearance level 3 at all times. SCP-294 appears to be a standard coffee vending machine, the only noticeable difference being an entry touchpad with buttons corresponding to an English QWERTY keyboard. Upon depositing 50 cents US in the coin slot, remember when things only cost 50 cents? Ever? Upon depositing 50 cents US currency into the coin slot, the user is prompted to enter the name of any liquid using the touchpad. Upon doing so, a standard 12-ounce paper drinking cup is placed and the liquid indicated is poured. 97 initial test results run or performed, including requests for water, coffee, beer, and soda, non-consumable liquids such as sulfuric acid, wiper fluid, and motor oil, as well as substances that do not naturally exist in a liquid state, such as nitrogen, iron, and glass, and each one returned to success. Test runs with solid materials such as diamond have failed. However, it appears that SCP-294 can only deliver substances that can exist in liquid state. At high enough temperatures, won't anything melt? In which case, isn't it possible to have molten diamond? And molten then is liquid. It is of note that after approximately 50 uses, the machine would not respond to further requests. After a period of approximately 90 minutes, the machine seems to have restocked itself. It is also interesting to note that many caustic liquids that would have eaten through a normal paper cup seem to have no effect on the cups dispensed by the machine. Testing is ongoing, as suggests SCP-294 was moved to the second floor personnel break room as a money-saving venture. Following incident 29401, guards were stationed at the item, and a security clearance became necessary to interact with it. Which they're really slow to do, I'm thinking. Document SCP-294A regarding incident 29401 on August 21st, 2005. Agent Joseph Binkley attempted to use item SCP-294 to obtain coffee during his allotted break at 9:30 a.m. At the request of Agent Redacted, quote-unquote, to see what it would do, Binkley requested a cup of joe from the item. Moments after consuming the selection, Agent Joseph Goebbels began to sweat profusely and complained of dizziness before collapsing. After moving the unconscious agent to an infirmary, the medical team recovered the contents of the cup dispensed by SCP-294, a combination of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. Testing revealed the DNA sequence of biological material dispensed by SCP-294 matched that of Agent Goebbels. Ew. So one agent tells another agent to order a cup of, I'm guessing, himself. And he did order the cup and drank the cup. Which makes me wonder exactly how ill was this other agent that made the request that a cup of his tissues should have made the other agent that profoundly ill. There's something sus in that. Greetings, Kaylet. Glad you couldn't make it. 12 minutes remaining, we're raffling off a game that you might be interested in. 1 cup, 2 agent. Oh no. Well, apparently that cup of blood and stuff was foul enough to qualify. Addendum SCP-294-F. After reviewing documentation of SCP-294, redacted suggested testing of SCP-294's ability to retrieve specific liquids from a distance. Addendum SCP-294-H. With the overseeing of O5 redacted, a cup of O75's secretion was input. The product was proven to be requested liquid, and the cup was able to successfully contain the material. However, the report for incident 07507 was acknowledged 2 hours after the test. A containment procedure breach had occurred exactly the same time the test was taking place, waking SCP-075 to its active stage. It was able to secrete an amount of basic solution equal to the capacity of a coffee cup before emergency containment procedure was applied and was rendered passive. The liquid was not found in the post-incident investigation. Addendum SCP-294-I. Researcher punched in a request for a cup of gold. The machine dispensed a cup of molten gold. Researcher requested similar precious materials with the same result. Nice. Addendum SCP-294-J. Researcher punched in, from a safe range, a request for a cup of anti-water. The machine hummed briefly and then displayed quote-unquote out of range on entry pad. It is theorized that SCP-294 has a limited range of collection and cannot reach into alternate universes or dimensions. Which, by the way, this means that it was pulling molten gold from somewhere else on Earth. Or it was looting gold and then melting it down internally. Either way, it's not going to be a plausible explanation for where all the gold in Fort Knox went. Addendum SCP-294-M. Testing for range of SCP-294's capacity for retrieval has been initiated. A unique compound has been formulated composed of undisclosed ratios of redacted brand bleach, redacted brand cola, met RX powder, and garam masala. The fluid was created and placed in a sealed container 25 meters away from SCP-294. When requested, the fluid was dispensed. An equal amount of mixture was no longer present in its original container. Addendum SCP-294-0. 1. Researcher redacted under observation of level 4 personnel, keyed in a request of the best drink I've ever had. SCP-294 dispensed a fluid similar in appearance to cola. The researcher identified it as a mixed drink he recalls having had at a bar during his bachelor party and was convinced it was the best drink. Redacted did not know what ingredients were in the drink besides rum and cola, but the test is scheduled to ascertain how SCP-294 gathers information. Addendum SCP-294-001-A. Under the same conditions, Agent Binkles, the best drink I've ever had, SCP-294 delivered a dark fluid topped with white foam, which was later identified as Vienna Lager. The cup was printed with a color picture of 5 men and 2 women drinking beer on the beach, with the agent as one of them. In his briefing, the agent confirmed that his favorite drink ever was a Vienna Lager he consumed at a beach with his friends, and has now been confirmed that SCP-294 has the ability to directly gather information from someone's mind in order to comply with the given conditions. Which implies it could be a bit of a security hazard. They probably should be a bit more careful with that. Subject keyed in the perfect drink. The machine dispensed a cup containing an odorless lavender liquid. After drinking liquid, subject appeared to go into shock. Subject later committed suicide, leaving a note which read, "I'm sorry, at this point everything just one big letdown." Requesting such drink again is highly discouraged. None of the components of the drink have yet been identified. And what a weak little... I'm sorry. The perfect drink, if one drinks it, might darken the world slightly for not having access to more of that drink or so on. But to kill oneself because they're not going to be able to drink any more of the perfect drink. Weak! I sneer at this deceased person and mock them in their grave. Moving on. SCP-94T01, subject keyed in something Cassie will like. The device was heard to hum for about 3 seconds before dispensing an empty cup. Printed on the side of the cup was an image of a traditional soda fountain glass filled with something brown and topped with whipped cream. Upon introduction to SP-085, it was identified by her as chocolate banana milkshake and judged delicious. Addendum SCP-294-W. Researcher keyed in a request for a cup of music. SCP-294 produced a clear, sparkling fluid that tasted vaguely alcoholic. Following ingestion, subject reported feeling and not hearing a continuous rhythm, and demonstrated the ability to move and even dance with a certain fluidity that he had not previously shown. Testing other abstract concepts is continuing. Which, by the way, means if you find that you are without rhythm and have 2 left feet, you could order a cup of rhythm from this, which would be about the same thing as music, and you'd be better off. Certainly, there are some interesting medicinal aspects to this. More relevantly, though, where did SCP-294 extract liquid music from? Just kind of wondering if, up until that point, some other person who had good rhythm, music in their soul, was doing quite well until suddenly it was just gone. Chugged by this researcher. How rude. Moving on. Addendum SCP-294-AB. During a mass security breach, Agent Redacted requested a cup of pertinent medical knowledge while taking shelter inside the second-floor break room. Of the 4 agents in the room, Agent Redacted was the only one who was not injured. SCP-294 poured a cup of clear green liquid. Following the ingestion of the substance, Agent Redacted began mending the other agent's wounds in a manner consistent with Foundation medical training. Agent Redacted no longer has the medical training the liquid provided, and other attempts to recreate the effect have failed. The agent has speculated that this event was an emergency measure taken by the object to ensure self-preservation. This thing is not safe. This is very, very Euclid. Addendum SCP-294-AC. Dr. Reynolds requested My Life Story from SCP-294. SCP-294 made humming noises, shook violently for approximately 3 minutes before providing a highly viscous, opaque black liquid. Upon consumption, Dr. Reynolds reported that he remembered everything that ever happened to him. Following this test, Dr. Reynolds entered his office and returned 40 hours later with a 538-page autobiography. Now, see, that is very handy. I like it. Although, again, I ask, if we've established this thing isn't creating out of thin air the liquid it's producing, where did it get Dr. Reynolds' life story from to produce in liquid form, if it supposedly can't draw from other realities, like the mystical plane of forgotten, useless knowledge? Okay. Researcher produced a request consisting solely of the phrase, "Surprise me." Device produced an opaque cup containing normal water, later turned to have been heated to approximately 200 degrees Celsius. Upon receiving vibration from transport, the contents of the cup turned into steam, violently spraying boiling water in a 2-meter radius. That's, Okay, well, in that case, here's where we went wrong. He should have said, pleasantly surprise me, not just surprise me. Surprises are not ever guaranteed to be pleasant. And in fact, many people who hate surprises know damn well that surprises can be very, 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 very memorably and scarringly unpleasant. The researcher in question surely has learned this lesson, provided they survive the incident. Addendum SCP-294-AF researcher produced a request for the blood of Christ. SCP-294 vibrated and produced the message, Hic est enim calec sanguinis me, then produced a paper drinking cup containing approximately 0.12 liters of red grape wine. Oh, on to everything else. The machine's an edgy atheist, guys. Researcher produced requests for a cup of Smilodon blood, cup of passenger pigeon blood, and a cup of Thomas Jefferson's blood, and received 3 out-of-range errors. How did my life story not be out of range? Yeah, I'm thinking it's not quite the machine that compelled that. Addendum SCP-294-AH, a D-Class personnel with an IQ of 99 and low curiosity scores was given written instructions about what to request. The D-Class personnel produced a request for blood of the Canis lupus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as wolf blood. The D-Class personnel next produced a request for saliva of Equus ferus caballus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as horse saliva. The D-Class personnel next produced a request for urine of Phascoloctus cinereus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as koala urine. The D-Class personnel next produced a request for cerebrospinal fluid of Phobrumis pattersoni and received a cup of liquid currently undergoing analysis. It has been noted that Phobrumis pattersoni went extinct during the late Miocene epoch, approximately 8 million years ago, but if it was still within range of this machine, maybe not quite so extinct as presumed. Addendum SCP-294-AI. Dr. King produced a request for a cup of room temperature superconductor and received a cup of apple juice with seeds floating in it. Not sure I get the punch on that one. Addendum SCP-294-AJ. Dr. Menchu produced a request for a cup of D151839's leukemia and received a cup of fluid. The fluid was microscopically examined and found to contain leukemic blast cells, which were a genetic match for D151839. A second request for a cup of D151839's leukemia resulted in an out-of-range error. D151839 was subsequently found to be free of leukemia, however, within 15 days, the leukemia had reoccurred. Now that is a very interesting application of this machine to treat, if not cure, cancer. So if you requested a cup of, say, designated patient's tumor, wouldn't that basically be tumor removal? Interesting. This is a classic SCP. Thank you, Casual, for requesting it. We are over time, but we're not done yet because I haven't raffled off the game yet. The game, again, one more time, is this one. Thus far, we have Nexus Hunter. Yes, it comes back, but, Caleb, in the time in which that tumor is removed, especially if that tumor was in an otherwise inoperable location, a lot of quality treatment could be fit in. Furthermore, there's no guarantee, because it hasn't been tested apparently, that the tumor would form in the same place. So if the tumor was in a really nasty place, it could still be quite the handy thing.
After a cataclysmic event, you've been imbued with the celestial powers of creation. giving you the ability to rebuild worlds that were unmade by a mysterious cosmic threat. As you embark on your adventure, know that you're not truly alone. Bring together a group of friends and team up to become an unstoppable force. Collect resources that can be used to travel between worlds. As well as create shiny new tools and the toughest armor. It's dangerous to go alone. Take your friends. Fight as a team against a multitude of challengers and monstrosities. Destroyed by a dark entity, you'll need to restore the portals to be able to travel across the universe. Explore the 9 worlds, rebuild them into the paradises that they once were. Gather allies and embark on a quest in your own little universe.
Did anyone else want to enter the raffle for this game? You have a minute to jump in at the last minute, because we're already past the last minute. I'm still providing that minute to potentially join in the raffle. Otherwise, I will raffle this game off and then bid you all a good evening as relevant. From my part, just so you know, I'm had my cough kick in. I'm feeling much better now. It's really dragging there for a while. I know you're probably very concerned about this, so you can now relax. Why I'm so caffeinated, I'm thinking I might actually start streaming Repo after this. But there doesn't seem to be any demand for it, so I'm really not sure. Feedback is still welcome. Okay, it's time to run the game. First off, we generate a number for Nexus Hunter. Nexus Hunter has rolled a less than certain, but perfectly auspicious 50. Next up, Keisho, who has rolled 33 and will not be winning. And finally, a number for Kaylet, who has just rolled 88 and won My Little Universe. Please note, once this key is delivered, I don't mind. You have personal license to dispense with it however you see fit. We have a rifle winner, so that's the important thing. Indeed, congratulations, Kaylet. Your key will be delivered momentarily, just as soon as I'm done here, which is going to be within the next minute. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the stream and this little foray into the world of SCP files. Thank you in particular to One Metro, who provided the wonderfully presented SCP file images. And I don't think anyone has any sane reason to ever be bothered about being reminded about Pink Floyd's The Wall. Okay, until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable, ostensibly.